Ever feel like some projects just go sideways even when the team is great?
Oh, yeah? Happens all the time.
Well, we're going deep on this today. We're looking at this PhD research by Alfonso Bicero. And you know what he found?
What's that?
Project success. It really comes down to the project sponsor.
Really? More than the team itself?
Yep, even more than the team. So today we're going to try to figure out why those sponsors are so important, and how what we do can really make or break things.
I'm all ears. This is useful for anyone, right? Whether you're managing projects or just want to understand, how organizations work better.
For sure. Absolutely.
So what did this Bucero guy find out anyway?
Well, one of the big things is that projects, they don't just exist on their own.
Right.
It's all about the relationships and the communication between the sponsor, the project manager, the customer, everyone, really, from the very beginning.
That makes sense. So many moving parts.
Exactly. And there's a big problem that his research found. A lot of times, project sponsors, they don't really get what they're supposed to be doing.
Huh. You mean they don't understand their own role?
Yeah, it's not always about, pointing fingers. Sometimes it's just that no one really explained it to them.
Okay, so it's like a communication breakdown.
Basically. And you know how we're always talking about training project managers?
Yeah, got to keep those skills sharp.
Right. Well, Bucero's research shows that it's super important to have that support and engagement from higher up, too.
From the executives, you mean?
Yeah, especially the sponsor. The whole organization needs to be on board, from the top down.
Buy-in from the top. Got it.
And the data backs this up. The research shows a clear link. The more the sponsor supports the project, the more likely it is to succeed.
Makes you wonder why we don't focus on this more.
I know, right? So how does this support actually work? Well, the research breaks it down into three things: commitment, believes, and rewards.
Okay, let's break those down. What exactly does commitment look like for a sponsor?
Well, it's more than just saying they're on board. It's about actually doing things like getting involved in, project portfolio management.
Project portfolio management. So it's like...
Right. It's how organizations decide which projects they're going to do and how they're going to use their resources.
Makes sense.
And then the sponsor should be part of that.
Got it.
They need to be engaged from the very beginning, from the project kickoff and all the way through.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Definitely not.
They need to be present, active.
Exactly. Then there's believes.
Okay, so this is about what exactly?
It means the sponsor has to really communicate why this project is important strategically. Like, how does it fit into the big picture?
So everyone on the team understands the why behind their work.
Right. That gives them context, motivation.
Makes sense.
And finally, there are rewards.
Rewards. So we're talking about bonuses and raises.
Not necessarily. It can be much simpler than that. Even just saying good job, acknowledging the team's efforts, celebrating milestones.
Those little things go a long way.
Absolutely. The research says that those small gestures can have a huge impact.
Interesting. So you're saying that you don't always need a huge, systemic overhaul.
Yeah. Sometimes just changing how the sponsor behaves, like being more mindful of the team, can make a big difference.
So small changes can yield big results.
That's the idea. And this actually leads to another point about the sponsor and the project manager working together.
The dynamic duo.
Right. The research shows that when you have a good project manager, having strong support from the sponsor makes them even more successful.
It's like a force multiplier.
Yeah, exactly. And project managers can actually help with this, by understanding how busy the sponsor is and working with them effectively.
Right, being mindful of their time.
Exactly. There's even this idea of managing up.
Managing up. So the project manager is managing the sponsor in a way.
In a way, yeah. It's about helping the sponsor understand their role and do it well, like a partnership.
So it's a two-way street.
Right. And if we step back and look at the bigger picture, this research tells us a lot about executive sponsorship and how organizations handle projects strategically.
I already see that, yeah.
Makes you think, right? Maybe being a project sponsor should be considered a core skill, something that organizations invest in developing.
Like a strategic competency. Definitely food for thought.
Absolutely. And for anyone in a leadership position, the takeaway is clear. Be the best project sponsor you can be. It's not just a nice to have, it's crucial for project success.
So clear communication, understanding your role, being actively involved, and that commitment, believes, rewards framework we talked about.
Exactly.
Powerful stuff.
So for all of you listening, the big takeaway is this. Project sponsors have way more influence on whether projects succeed or fail than we often realize.
More than we give them credit for.
And by focusing on their understanding, their commitment, their belief in the project, and how they recognize the team's work, you can really see better results.
Makes you think, what can we do right now in our own work or organizations to improve the role of the sponsor? How can we empower them to be more effective?
Great question to think about. Thanks for listening, everyone.